Huh? What'd you say? Why do I have this smile on my face? Because today we are making a delicious, amazing, decadent, chocolatey, coffee tiramisu, but made with a homemade whipped cream, and you're gonna love this part, a homemade chocolate sauce. Look at that. Mmm. You know what, you guys? I don't even need to talk about it anymore. Let's get started. We're gonna start off by making the chocolate sauce because we want it to cool down slightly before we add it to the tiramisu. So I'm starting off with just 1 cup of milk, and then I'm gonna add about 1 1/4 cup of heavy cream. And I'm gonna simmer this liquid mixture over medium to low heat because you do not want it to burn. You also do not want it to boil. Just let it gently simmer and start to warm up before we add in our other ingredients. Right when it looks like your cream and your milk are about to start to simmer, move quickly. Add in 3 tablespoons of powdered sugar, 2 and 3, and 1 teaspoon of espresso powder. I use espresso baking powder. For some reason, it's finer, which helps it incorporate into my baked goods better. You could buy just like regular espresso, instant coffee, that'll also work. It's just the baking powder, like I said, it's more fine. And so it really does a good job of dissolving quickly and incorporating its flavors into whatever warm liquid you put it in. 1 teaspoon of espresso powder. Grab that whisk and get started. You want that sugar and the espresso to dissolve. No lumps or clumps, because remember, this is a chocolate sauce. We want it smooth and creamy. If you feel like your milk and cream is getting too hot, go ahead and turn it down. Like I said, you do not want it to boil. So I've actually turned off the heat on mine, and I'm just letting the heat that's already there continue to do its thing and let all of that sugar and espresso powder dissolve. All right, that looks good to me. Our final step, everyone loves chocolate. Make sure you get a nice quality chocolate for this recipe. It's tiramisu. It's chocolate and espresso, so you gotta get a good chocolate for this one. And there are so many different options out there, especially right now. A lot of them are on sale. Go ahead and add those in gently. You don't want it to splatter and fly everywhere. There we go. I'm using about 12 ounces. I actually have 2 different chocolates that I'm using. I have some left over from my Oreo truffles that I made, so I'm gonna add that in here as well. I'm gonna give it a little shake so all of that chocolate's covered. And let that heat do its thing, let that chocolate dissolve. Keep a close eye on it though, because what? We don't want it to burn, we don't want it to boil. All right, my chocolate sauce is ready. We want it to cool down before adding it to the tiramisu. So I'm gonna set it to the side, let it cool slightly, and I'm gonna keep going on with the rest of the ingredients here. So we've got the chocolate sauce ready. Now we're gonna move on to the main part, which is that delicious whipped cream. Crazy easy. All you need is literally heavy whipping cream, a cold bowl, and an electric mixer. I left my bowl sitting in the refrigerator overnight, as well as the whisk. So that way I know it's nice and chilled, and this is just gonna fluff up so beautifully after a few minutes. These are so cute. They reminded me of like the little milks that you would get in elementary school from the cafeteria, the little milk cartons. They're so adorable, but they're also really great for cooking because they're already measured out for you. Since we need 1 cup, half a pint, that's 8 ounces, that's 1 cup. Pour it into your cold bowl. Make sure every drop is used. Waste not, want not. And then go ahead and assemble your electric mixer. It might help if I plugged it in, huh? All right, it's plugged in, ready to go. You're just gonna whisk everything together until it forms stiff peaks. That's when you know that your whipped cream is ready. When you've got those nice stiff peaks, that's how you know your whipped cream is ready. My whipped cream is all ready to go. I put it inside the refrigerator just to keep it cold. Since I'm recording this recipe, it takes me a little longer to get through everything. Next up, we have our delicious cheese. I have 8 ounces of mascarpone cheese, half a cup of granulated sugar, which we're gonna go ahead and pour on in. Whee! I love being dramatic with my ingredients. It just makes cooking fun. And then 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. And we go. Grab your whisk and get to whisking. We want this nice and fluffy, just like we did the whipped cream. Start on slow and work your way up to high, so that way the cheese doesn't go flying out of the bowl. All right, now that my cheese is all done, what I need to do next is gently fold my cheese mixture into the cold whipped cream that we just made. That's gonna create this like velvety, creamy, cheesy, smooth layer inside of this tiramisu. Fun fact, I was like today years old when I learned how to properly pronounce tiramisu. I always thought it was tiramisu, like tiara, the crown. Well, now I know, because when I was typing up the recipe, I was like, why does my computer keep saying that I'm spelling tiramisu wrong? It's like, yeah, Jess, because that's not how you say it, which also means that's not how you spell it either. Tiramisu. Okay, everything is ready to go. We have our cheese and whipped cream here. I've transferred my chocolate sauce to a shallow bowl. That's all ready to go. I have 2 cups of cold brew coffee that I combined with 2 tablespoons of cocoa powder. This is what we're gonna be dipping our lady fingers into. Just gonna give it one last swirl, make sure all of that cocoa powder is well combined into the cold brew coffee. I have my lady fingers ready to go. This is my favorite part of baking, you guys. That like last 2 to 3 steps right before everything comes together. So I'm gonna probably use this entire pack of lady fingers, which is somewhere between 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. So I've got 24, and then I've also got some more in reserve because I feel like I'm gonna need about 30 to 35 for this particular baking dish. I'm using a 9x9 baking dish. That way I can make sure all the lady fingers are evenly spread out on the bottom. For the assembly, just take a lady finger, quickly dip it inside of the coffee and chocolate mix, and then add it to the bottom of your dish. Move fast, because if you soak these lady fingers too long, they will break apart right in your hands and fall directly into the bowl. So move fast, shake off any excess, add it to the bottom of your pan. And now it's time for that amazing chocolate sauce we made earlier. Just go ahead and stir it back up. Since it's been cooling, you don't want that thick layer on top. You want it to remelt again. So just mix it into the bottom where it's still warm. And then we're gonna pour about half of this mixture onto our whipped cream and cheese. Watch it drizzle slowly. Y'all know I get excited about cooking. Leave me alone. All right, here we go. I'm just gonna drizzle that on top. And we wanna make sure it goes over everything evenly. So kind of just take the pan and tilt it. That way you make sure you've got chocolate in all of the nooks and crannies. Now we do need to put this in the freezer for just about 10 minutes to let that chocolate cool down before we add on the next layer of lady fingers, or else they'll just squish and soak. It'll be a huge mess. 10 minutes in the freezer. 10 minutes is up, so I'm gonna grab it out the freezer and we're gonna start layer number 2. As you can see, the chocolate is so much firmer. Even when I tilt it, it's not moving. That's how I know I'm ready for the second layer. I got my lady fingers ready to go, my coffee ready to go. Remember, move fast. I'm gonna give it a little swirl though, because I can notice that some of that cocoa has settled at the bottom. Ready, set, go. Dip it fast, shake it off, pop it on top. Ooh, good. Dip it fast, shake it off, pop it on top. I just finished whipping up a fresh batch of whipped cream to go on top. Since it's out of the freezer, so this is the last step for me. I've got my piping bag all ready to go, and I'm gonna decorate. Geez, I'm really excited, clearly. I am going to decorate the top of this tiramisu with my homemade whipped cream. And remember, we only used half of that chocolate sauce on our second layer, so I'm gonna use the remaining chocolate sauce to drizzle decadently on top. I'm excited for this one. Now let's see how talented I really am. Can I pipe and record at the same time? Look at me, jack of all trades. This is so beautiful. Also though, me piping with just like one hand and a camera? You do not have to pipe this whipped cream if you don't want to. You can dollop it on top, you can smear it on top. Choice is totally up to you. You just want to have something on top that's visually appealing. I also like to let people know what's inside of what they're eating. And so when you decorate it with whipped cream on top, it lets people know, there's a good chance there's probably some more whipped cream hidden within inside this dish, which is absolutely true. Almost done. This is gorgeous, you guys. I am so proud of myself. I just keep trying new things and I'm like mastering it left and right. All right, last one. Oof, barely made it. Look at that. My best friend must know that I'm making chocolate because she's texting me. She loves chocolate. Ta-da! This tiramisu, you guys. Woo! That's how good it is. I have been dancing to Craig David's Rendezvous this entire time. You have got to try this recipe. It's gorgeous, it tastes great, it's easy to make. I really hope you enjoy it for Valentine's Day or whatever day. If you're craving something sweet, try my tiramisu recipe. Let me try that again, that's a tongue twister. Tiramisu recipe with a homemade hot chocolate sauce and a homemade whipped cream. Until next time, cheers!